from the British traditions. And thus we should be thankful for them that we have generally a non-corrupt and meaningful and attentive administration within the public administrative forces. Thank you.
Tony, Florida, Democrat, you're next. Thanks for waiting.
Hello?
Go ahead, Tony.
Yes, I just wanted to call in and talk about accountability. When we was in the Army, we used to have the 5 Ps. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. And I'm looking back on this situation about the ballroom and everything that happened over the weekend, and I think somebody in the Trump administration should be fired. You had a year to plan this thing, and you hadn't did it in 10 years, and you just...
And Tony, I'm going to stop you there because we're going to take viewers to Capitol Hill, Speaker Mike Johnson and the King.
Thank you, press, and officials only can come at me.
Charles and Mike Johnson there. That's the Speaker's offices. The Speaker's balcony is right through those doors. That's the balcony that overlooks the west front of the United States Capitol, looking down the mall. So the King's delegation meeting at Speaker of the House Mike Johnson's offices. They will go and meet with other leaders on Capitol Hill, and we're showing you everything that we can show you of this historic visit by the King. The King's speech set to go off again at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll show it to you in its entirety here on C-SPAN. This is Rita, meanwhile, waiting in Allen, Texas. Republican. Rita, go ahead.
Yes, this is Miss Rita Barnett, and I want to say to our President and our First Lady, thank you both for honoring King Philip and his wife. And
King Charles.
I want King Charles. I'm sorry. King Charles, but I'm sure he understands. I mean it from my heart. I'm so proud of President for what him and his wife are letting them come to our country, and opening up open their arms to them in a way to say thank you for coming to visit us after what had just happened with him and his wife not too long ago. And I also want to say that it's time for us to come together. Jesus created the whole world for all of us, and we should have that love in our heart because he went to the cross for the whole world. And what I see today is love, and not keep talking about, negative. Let's talk about the goodness to see these two countries coming together today.
Rita, you talk about the President and the First Lady honoring the King and Queen. We did note earlier the gifts that were exchanged. Here's what President Trump gave the King: a custom facsimile of a letter written from John Adams to John Jay in 1785. This is after the end of the Revolutionary War. This was John Adams describing his visit to King George III's, to Great Britain, to King George III's court at St. James Palace, talking about the pomp and ceremony that was given to former enemy and now a sovereign country, to John Adams as he was representing the United States. The King saying, as quoted by John Adams in that letter, that he was the last to consent to a separation and he'd be the first to meet the United States in friendship. That's what President Trump gave to King Charles. Here's what the First Lady gave to Queen Camilla: 6 Tiffany's English King Sterling silver teaspoons and some of the White House honey as well. The teaspoons are Tiffany's interpretation of the King design, popular in England. For Tiffany's 150th anniversary in 1987, this flatware pattern was selected for the Blair House. The official presidential guest headquarters. And the White House's honey jar nods to the Queen's interest in beekeeping and reflects a shared appreciation for craftsmanship and the natural world. That's according to the poll notes that were released about the gifts. Taking your phone calls here on C-SPAN. This is John in Kokomo, Indiana. Independent. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was calling to thank you for showing Queen Elizabeth's speech, the full 19 minutes of that. That was a great blast from the past and very respectful. And just wanted to say thank you.
Another blast from the past, though, this one, the not too distant past. President Trump was last in England on his visit in September of last year. He went to Windsor Palace, was feted by the King and Queen. He also gave about a 6.5-minute toast at that formal dinner that was given in his honor. Here's President Trump's remarks from September of last year.
Your Majesty, Melania and I are deeply grateful to you and Queen Camilla for your extraordinary graciousness. And to William and Kate, thank you so much. It's been so great being with you today. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's a singular privilege to be the first American president welcomed here. And if you think about it, it's a lot of presidents, and this was the second state visit, and that's the first, and maybe that's going to be the last time. I hope it is, actually. But this is truly one of the highest honors of my life. Such respect for you and such respect for your country. For many decades, His Majesty the King has epitomized the fortitude, nobility, and the spirit of the British monarchy and the British people. He's dedicated himself to preserving the glory and unique character of this kingdom, restoring life to the rivers and streams, supporting the works of its artists and composers, planting trees and gardens in its countryside. And I just visited one of the most beautiful I've ever seen that you just completed, and protecting the architectural integrity of cities, villages, and towns. He has uplifted the poor, cared for rural farmers, and tended to wounded veterans like nobody else. I'll tell you that I just stood in line and shook about 150 hands, and the King knew every single person and every single company, and some of them had bad names like XYZ-Q3, and he knew every one of them, or at least I think he did, because nobody was complaining. I was very impressed with that. But I just want to say that His Majesty has also raised a remarkable son in His Royal Highness Prince of Wales. Really amazing. We've gotten to know you, and I think you're going to have an unbelievable success in the future. Melania and I are delighted to visit again with Prince William and to see Her Royal Highness Princess Catherine, so radiant and so healthy, so beautiful. It's really a great honor. Thank you. Many years ago, His Majesty opened his archives to a biographer. Among the documents was a letter from 1993 in which he described the patriotism and guided his many projects. He wrote that he was, quote, entirely motivated by a desperate desire to put the great back into Great Britain. In the finest tradition of British sovereigns, he has given his whole heart, everything he's got, to those parts of Britain that are beyond the realm of mere legislation. It's not easy, but which define its essence and its virtue, its harmony and its soul. It's an amazing calling, and there's nobody that's answered that calling like you have. A fifth of all of humanity speaks, writes, thinks, and prays in the language born on these isles and perfected in the pages of Shakespeare and Dickens and Tolkien, Lewis, Orwell, and Kipling. Incredible people, unbelievable people like we have rarely seen before, probably won't see again. The lion-hearted people of this kingdom defeated Napoleon, unleashed the Industrial Revolution, destroyed slavery, and defended civilization in the darkest days of fascism and communism. The British gave the world the Magna Carta, the modern parliament, and Francis Bacon's scientific method. They gave us the works of Locke, and Hobbes, Smith, and Burke, Newton, and Blackstone. The legal, intellectual, cultural, and political traditions of this kingdom have been among the highest achievements of mankind. There's really never been anything like it. The British Empire laid the foundations of law, liberty, free speech, and individual rights virtually everywhere the Union Jack has ever flown, including a place called America. You know that place very well, don't you? His Majesty spoke eloquently about the bond which inspired Sir Winston Churchill, and the bust is in the Oval Office right now, the beautiful bust of Winston Churchill, to coin the phrase special relationship. But seen from American eyes, the word special does not begin to do it justice. We're joined by history and fate, and by love and language, and by transcendent ties of culture, tradition, ancestry, and destiny. We're like two notes in one chord, or two verses of the same poem, each beautiful on its own, but really meant to be played together. The bond of kinship and identity between America and the United Kingdom is priceless and eternal. It's irreplaceable and unbreakable, and we are, as a country, as you know, doing unbelievably well. We had a very sick country 1 year ago, and today, I believe we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. In fact, nobody's even questioning it, but we owe so much of that to you and the footing that you gave us when we started. Together, we've done more good for humanity than any two countries in all of history. Together, we must defend the exceptional heritage that makes us who we are, and we must continue to stand for the values and the people of the English-speaking world, and we do indeed stand for that. On behalf of all Americans, I offer a toast to one of the great friendships, to two great countries, and to His Majesty, King Charles III, a very, very special man, and also a very, very special queen. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with you.
That was just over 7 months ago, back in September of last year. President Trump was visiting Windsor Castle just outside of London, making those remarks in that speech. Here's how you can join us on phone lines for Republicans, Democrats, and Independents. And we will let Cassie chat while I catch my voice. Arlington, Massachusetts, Democrat. Cassie, go ahead.
Yes, I started listening about 11 o'clock when I believe Prince Charles and Camilla came. It was a British Embassy gathering, and I have been sick, and I have many opinions about what's going on in this country, but I just saw, especially King Charles, shaking hands, talking with people and smiling and being so pleasant, as well as Camilla. And a calm came over me from all the terrible things happening and being done in this country. I know people have called more about political issues or military or how much the event cost. I just, in those moments, felt so, I wished so much, and I know it's part of the protocol to do those things, but it was so calming, and I wish so much that we could emulate that kind of behavior in leadership. And obviously, there are all the political and other underpinnings of what's going on and what may be talked about, but it makes me so sad that our country, not to say that the royal family, I have no feelings about it, but the royal family isn't flawed and has personal and perhaps political problems, and people wish for it not to be. But I just see such a difference, not only in style, but in substance.
That's Cassie in Massachusetts. In just a few minutes here, we're expecting the king to walk through Statuary Hall. That is just outside the House chamber on the House side of the United States Capitol. You've seen plenty of events there. That's where members will come after the State of the Union address to chat with all the reporters, all the various camera setups. That's where the latest camera setup is, and we're expecting the king to walk through again as they start moving towards the House chamber for this 3 p.m. Eastern address. Members of the House and Senate, other dignitaries will all be gathering in the House chamber. We'll show you the inside as soon as we have cameras up there. 4 C-SPAN cameras will be covering it for you so we can show you what's happening, some of the reaction in the chamber before, during, and after the speech. Margaret in Alabama, Republican. Margaret, go ahead.
Thank you for your coverage, Mr. John. I appreciate it very much. The state of Alabama's flag has a connection a bit. It is St. Andrew's Cross, the same as Scotland, but the colors are different. My favorite book is Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. I greatly appreciated the Queen Elizabeth having the national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, played there at Buckingham Palace a few days after 9/11. And that was such a wonderful gesture on her part. I appreciate the king and him fighting cancer, and I'm proud of his family, their flaws and everything, as well as the current president, who is, by the way, married to an immigrant. God bless the king and his family, and God bless America. Thank you for your coverage, Mr. John.
That's Margaret in the Yellowhammer State. This is Jessica in the Centennial State, Parker, Colorado. Independent, go ahead.
Good morning. Hi, I appreciate your coverage this morning. And I really appreciate the caller who encouraged us to look at the positives of this visit. I think there's a lot of naysayers, and there's so much good happening here. Some seem very up in arms about etiquette and protocol that they don't feel is being addressed, and mentioning that our citizens aren't bowing to the royals, but that is only required by British subjects, and they are not offended by handshakes. I see everybody's been very respectful. The king and queen have been shown great courtesy. It's been a lovely affair. Back when Michelle Obama hugged Queen Elizabeth II during their official visit to the UK, the Queen was endeared by that. She wasn't offended at all. And I think people forget that these royals, they go all over the world and they interact with so many people, different types of cultures in the Commonwealth. And they find people endearing. They love to meet people of different backgrounds. And so I think we get a little nervous, like, oh, somebody didn't bow or somebody's walking ahead. But they are really used to all sorts of different things. In fact, I read a quote once that they kind of like it when things go wrong during a big event because it brings humor. So I think we just have to realize they are, even though they're elitist, of course, they are regular people, and I think there's a lot of goodwill between our countries and this event.
Jessica, thanks for the call from Colorado, which became a state in 1876, 100 years after the Declaration. That's why it's the Centennial State. And Frank is also in Colorado. Boulder, Democrat. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, awesome. So I just want to bring it back. Great coverage, by the way. I am wanting to bring back the conversation to something a little bit more important, where I feel like America is really struggling. A lot of people here are unable to afford health care, gasoline prices, and all these other things that people are suffering for. Meanwhile, we have a president who cares more about his ballroom, and who cares about this, British king coming here? Meanwhile, we are suffering, in America, and the Epstein files, especially. Why are we not talking more about the Epstein files? I would rather have Howard Stern as president.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma, Republican. Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead, Christy.
I am so glad to talk to you all. I am a homeschool mom from Tulsa, and we have been watching your coverage all morning long, and you all are doing a fantastic job. I have seen so many intelligent speakers and guests, and I love the little tidbits of history that you've been giving. I've told my girls to write this down. I'm very appreciative that you all are taking this from such a historical context. A lot of times we see Hollywood red carpets and the celebrity aspect of America, but America was founded on principles that men shed their blood for. And I know that we're celebrating our 250th year, and we
Christy,
have so much to be grateful.
I'll let you keep talking. I just wanted to point that Chuck Schumer is entering a statuary hall, and so we'll probably be gathering with the king soon. But Christy, didn't mean to cut you off. Just wanted to point that out, and go ahead and continue.
Absolutely. And that brings me to my next comment. I have been teaching my girls about the freedoms that we have in America as a constitutional republic. We can get out there and vote. We can make our voice heard. And that's another reason why I'm so thankful they're trying to promote the SAVE Act, because it allows American citizens to be able to vote and to be able to promote the truth. And I know that the country seems divided, but where we go one, we go all. And I know the best is yet to come. And I'm so thankful for President Trump right about now. And that's what I teach my girls to do, is to know that he's honoring God, he's honoring America, he's honoring families. And I know that the financial situation is going to make a comeback and a turnaround, and we're all going to be very thankful. And whatever has been divided will be joined together. And as we see this moment in history, I tell my girls, this is what's going to be written down in your history books for the future. We are making history right now. And I appreciate you guys covering this. And like I said, those historical facts, those are so very important. That is what history is all about. Thank you all very much.
That's Christy in the Sooner State to the Badger State. This is Kate in Plymouth. Independent, go ahead.
Yes. Hi, John. I'm grateful to be able to watch King Charles and Camilla's visit to the United States. I love the enthusiasm of the last caller. She's awesome. I won't be commenting as one of the other callers from Colorado was commenting on the state of the United States. I think we do have our ups and downs, but we're looking here at two countries that are meeting and celebrating good things. And, I'm glad I get to watch. I did want to comment because so many people were worried about President Trump's way of carrying himself and whether or not he's being polite or not. But, in all big formal events like this, there are moments of awkwardness, right? And I truly believe that President Trump would not deliberately try to be impolite. I think everyone seems to be getting along great, and it's just wonderful to see. So that's all I have to say.
That's Kate in Wisconsin. To Pam, it's Duluth, Georgia, Democrat. Go ahead.
Hi. I'm enjoying your reporting as well. I am at end-stage glaucoma and cannot see what you're reporting on, but the visual descriptions are really, really helping me appreciate it. I just want to say that I'm glad that our relationship with Great Britain is not damaged by what Trump has done with the tariffs and threatening to get out of NATO and all of that. And it's just such a difference between his demeanor and way of speech and King Charles.
What do you want to hear from King Charles, Pam, as you listen to that speech in the next hour or so?
I would like him to point out how, going forward, what our relationship can be, what he expects it to be.
What do you expect it to be, Pam?
I'd like it to be better than it is now. I'm 76, and like I said, end-stage glaucoma. And I grew up in a better world than this. Even through Vietnam, we were not this fractured. So I would just like our countries to have a better relationship.
That's Pam in Duluth, Georgia. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, Pam. This is Hakeem in Tennessee, Republican. Go ahead.
Hello, Hakeem, Memphis, Tennessee. I would like to start off by saying thanks to C-SPAN for giving us people the opportunity to give our opinions. And I would like to also say thanks to Donald Trump for all of the hard work that he's been doing under his administration. And President Trump really has a hard job. Most respect to him. He's doing the best that he can with all that he's inherited. And I commend him on the many attempts to fix so much, the many things that have been broken.
And Hakeem, appreciate your comments. The King and the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, walking through Statuary Hall now. We'll let you watch and listen. Those are some of the scenes from Statuary Hall as members and dignitaries gather. It's a 3 p.m. speech, so less than an hour from now. We're expecting a 20-minute address from the King. Lots of topics to talk about, the special relationship, of course. We're also hearing that the King will talk about the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Saturday night. It's an address that is taking place for the first time from a British monarch since 1991. King Charles' mother, Queen Elizabeth II, speaking. We showed you that 16-minute remark. It's about 16 and a half minutes from 1991, some more than 35 years ago at this point, and today, making history again. We'll watch it all together here on C-SPAN, and as members continue to gather, we'll continue to hear from you on phone lines for Democrats, Republicans, and Independents. John is in Oregon, Independent. John, go ahead.
How you doing today? Boy, I tell you, I really enjoy your coverage. My mother was born in Canada the same year as Queen Elizabeth. They would have both been 100 today. My father was a captain in the U.S. Army from 1941 to 46. They married in Seattle and ended up in Portland. And I'm really proud of to be an American, and I just can't believe people would call up and whine about things like Jeffrey Epstein and the price of gas. You know what my parents went through in World War II, and what all the rest of the people of that era. Winston Churchill and FDR saved the world. If it wasn't for their vision, to send all those munitions to England, even before we were attacked at Pearl Harbor, we'd all be speaking German and Japanese. So these people need to wake up and quit blaming Trump for every little thing that happens. Thank you.
It's John in Oregon. This is Willie, Portsmouth, Virginia. Democrat, go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to say that I watched
watched Donald Trump at that dinner in England with the king, and I have to say that had to be the longest, boring speech I have ever seen or heard in my life.
Willie, we'll stop it there. This is over outside the House chamber. All of the congressional leaders meeting with the king. We'll let you watch.
I don't know how we'll fit in this room, but that was a lot of cameras up there. Yes, all across the country. So each member in the House represents about 760,000.
Thank you, Bryce. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. This way. Thank you very much.
Mike Johnson up front there. You saw John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, the Senate Minority Leader. Hakeem Jeffries was there on the right as well. The House leadership was sitting on the right as we looked at it, and that was some of the UK delegation on the left side. The King, of course, and Mike Johnson there in the center for that camera opportunity. They called a pool spray where the reporters can get their pictures and some video. That means we're edging closer to this speech that is set to take place at 3 p.m. Eastern. We are expecting to get pictures from the House chamber right around 2:30, 2:35 or so. So when we do, we'll show you the gathering dignitaries, the members of Congress, House and Senate. It's a bicameral meeting, and the King's speech expected to go until about 3:20 p.m. Eastern. All that happening on Capitol Hill. This evening, the action shifts back down Pennsylvania Avenue to the White House for that formal state dinner that's taking place. 7 p.m. is when it kicks off, and that's when our coverage kicks off. We're expecting dinner service around 8 p.m. Eastern, toasts maybe 8:30 to 9 o'clock. And we hope you stay with the C-SPAN networks all day as we cover this historic visit. Action shifts tomorrow to New York City. King Charles is meeting with Mayor Zohran Mamdani in New York City. He's visiting the site of the 9/11 attacks, meeting with family members of victims of 9/11, and also he and the Queen making several visits around Manhattan as well. On Thursday, the action shifts back to Washington, D.C., a visit to Arlington National Cemetery. Also, we're expecting the King to meet with some Indigenous Americans. We're expecting a visit to a national park as well. So it is a full docket for the King and Queen as they make this historic visit to the United States. Off to the Bahamas after that for the King and Queen, but their portion of their U.S. visit ends on Thursday. Back to your phone calls. This is Margarita in Miami, Republican. Thanks for waiting.
How are you today?
I'm doing well, Margarita. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you very much. I am so happy to see King Charles III that looks better. I have been